Nolan does not softly coax the audience into the DEI net, easing us into it slowly but surely. No, he cranks the diversity meter up to 1,000 from the very first frame. The first character we see is the rapper Travis Scott, who somehow manages to turn in a bad performance despite appearing on screen for 12 seconds. He got 12 seconds and he completely botched it somehow. And then we see Ellen Page portraying a Greek warrior waddling around the desert like a child with a soiled diaper, straining under her rubber armor, looking like she's about to die even before she gets shot through with arrows. The defenders of this film, especially on the right, have tried to claim that Page's appearance is not a huge problem because she only has a small role. You've probably heard that. It's a very small role. Now, I don't want to ascribe sinister motives to anybody or accuse them of lying, so I will generously assume that the conservative commentators making that claim must have fallen asleep 10 seconds into the movie, which would be totally understandable, frankly. If they actually watched the entire thing in a state of full consciousness, or at least half consciousness, then they would know that Ellen Page is not a minor character in this film at all. She is utterly pivotal to the plot. She's one of the most important characters in the entire film. She is more than that, and as Steve Deese has pointed out, the moral conscience of the story. Her inclusion in this film, in that role, is without question one of the wokest, most radically left-wing things we have ever seen in a mainstream Hollywood blockbuster film. There is no doubt about that. If any director but Christopher Nolan had done this, he would have no conservative defenders at all. To claim that a movie is not woke when there's a trans-identified female actress pretending to be a male Greek warrior who serves as the linchpin of the plot and the film's moral conscience is just ridiculous. I mean, if we're going to rightly claim that it's woke to have a brown-skinned Hispanic Snow White, then how can we possibly argue that there's nothing woke about a trans female portraying an ancient Greek warrior? Now, the argument from Nolan's conservative defenders seems to be, rather explicitly, that it's okay when Nolan does it. I find that argument to be unpersuasive, if not pathetic. Indeed, if you believe that Nolan is one of the greatest filmmakers of all time, then the logical conclusion is that it's worse when he does it, not better. DEI casting in a crappy Snow White remake directed by random Disney director number 1242 is far less significant and culturally corrosive than DEI casting by one of the most influential and marketable filmmakers of all time, obviously. And that's not where the diversity casting ends, not by a long shot. Odysseus's crew consists of many people of different races, multiple Asians, including a second in command. Now, this character, the second in command, played by the actor Himesh Patel, has a heavy presence in the film. He has a ton of screen time, and every minute he's visible on screen is another minute where total immersion in the story is impossible.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, MAGA is racist. MAGA is having a meltdown because the Odyssey that they wanted to hate so bad and wanted the rest of the world to hate is becoming an international blockbuster and box office film. We as minorities have always tried to tell their dumbasses, when you include more people, you'll get more people coming to see the movie. They got their panties in a wad because some of them are so brightly dumb that they think that this story is based on reality. We have so failed the education system in America that there are literal idiots who also believe the WWE is still real, believe that the Odyssey really and truly happened at some point in time. And so we'll break down some of the stupid comments from the racists. Shout out to Matt Walsh. That's who you guys just saw. Go and give him a follow. We're also going to cover details in the Nolan Wells case, a little bit more details. We've also got Hunter Biden sitting down with Nick Gay-ass Fuentes, or however you say his name, in, I guess, a bro moment. And I've also got the up-to-date news that has happened in the last 24 hours. All that and so much more. We get kicked off. Lamont, Tyson. We start right now.
I'm up early for the dealers come out. Everybody is outside till the killers come out. You ain't eating, you just act full. I'm impactful. Dozen funerals in a month. I got that full. I will give it to niggas in all rap forms. Ignatius out right now on all platforms.
That is right, ladies and gentlemen. You are in the building with the all-knowing, all-loving, all-feeling, all-seeing, all-powerful, all-woke, all DEI, all equitable, all progressive, just damn everything sexy as hell host of this channel. It's me, Lamont Tyson. Please subscribe. Any smaller content creator who's trying to build their channel, send them my way. I'll repost here so they can get to know my audience. I am the 8th fastest political growing YouTube channel on YouTube in the last quarter. And that is because I take the community approach. People always send me videos that they want me to repost. I happily do it. I need you guys to make sure that you check the description at the bottom so that you can give them a follow and we can build this community of progressive democracy together and trying to make things fair and equitable for everybody, even though we have those that continue to vote against their interests. Before we get into what's going on with the Odyssey and how it has MAGA madder than a hornet in seawater, let's talk about what's been the breaking news of the last 24 hours. Let's start with this. Japan had an earthquake, ladies and gentlemen, a 7.1 earthquake on a Richter scale. Now, you have to keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that when you have an earthquake, a 7.1 is significantly more stronger than a 7. This thing doesn't go in like single increments. They go in like exponential increments. So even that one tick made this thing worse. And right now we have thousands of people trapped, not just in the mall, but in other places as well. So my heart goes out to them. If you guys want to read up on that, just do a Google search on what's going on in Japan. I know a lot of you guys have visited Japan and you really liked it. I've not been yet. I'm gonna hopefully get out there soon, but I'm well wishing everybody that they can get safe. And Japan has really been on their recovery. It didn't take them long. They didn't act like Trump and FEMA in Asheville, North Carolina. They got their asses out there immediately. That's how you should have your government work for you, the people. Next, we've got Trump and his push to get more information about vaccines and how it affects autism. Now, for years, folks, it has been settled science on the effects of vaccines and autism. But because we've got people who believe in quote unquote alternative facts, which there's no such thing as an alternative fact, ladies and gentlemen, make no mistake, a fact is a fact. And our base is starting to jump out the window because of this war. And to go and get a half a pound of beef costs more than minimum wage. He's doing things to gin up the base. Let me read you this. President Trump has reportedly urged HHS Secretary Robert Kennedy, who is not a doctor, to aggressively scale back on federal recommendations for childhood vaccinations. The pressure follows prior directives from the administration ordering the CDC to align the U.S. immunization schedule with European nations that recommend fewer routine shots. HHS and the CDC previously dropped broad recommendations for 6 common vaccines, including flu, rotavirus, RSV, hepatitis A, hepatitis B, meningococcal disease, reducing the routine schedule from 17 diseases down to 11. Internal friction has emerged within the administration, with some White House advisors urging caution and warning against drastic cuts that could spark political backlash or severe public health risk. Major medical associations and federal courts have pushed back as well, with groups like the American Academy of Pediatrics filing legal challenges that led a federal judge to temporarily block changes to the vaccine advisory process. Now, folks, I had a conversation with someone I dearly care about yesterday about where they see this vaccine situation. This person is a progressive. But because of what's happened from COVID till now and lack of transparency from the FDA and the government itself, this person has kind of gotten bit by the bug of curiosity as to why we don't have more transparency with these vaccines in terms of, do the risk outweigh the reward? And they also mentioned to me that it gets on their nerves sometimes when the professionals say, you know, we've done the work, we've done the study, listen to what I say and just do it, because they want to have choice. And I completely understand what that individual was saying, because it is vague, it is ambiguous in terms of properly letting people know the risk versus the reward. or having a medical professional come and speak to you in a way that you can understand everything without the stupid jargon. And all that has led to medical mistrust and to us having people who have no kind of medical background, like dumbass Trump, trying to set policy that is going to cause health risk. Now, we need these vaccines to prevent health catastrophes. We saw COVID, and we saw the response to people who, under normal circumstances, might would have got the vaccine, but didn't because someone told them that alternative facts is something real. And then you had dumbass people who don't question what's in the Mountain Dew, want to question what's in the damn vaccine. You don't question is the food sourced properly from where you're getting it, but you want to question this vaccine all of a sudden because Trump and other dummies who don't have any medical knowledge told you should do that. Where I fall, any reform that happens needs to be in the form of real transparency of what's in the vaccine, what are the real risks, give people the opportunity to understand everything that goes on surrounding getting their kids vaccinated and how it can help society or harm the individual. Because these vaccines have eliminated diseases for years. That is proven science. That's a fact. But what hasn't been proven is the transparency and letting people know what's in it. And with Trump, you can't even say all that because everything he does is a calculated play to control and stay in power. I don't believe hardly anything Trump does is to help humanity. This is just a power play to placate those on his side that are upset about the war, that want to see something done about vaccines. Now, while I support choice, I support people, if you want to give your kid a vaccine, you should. But at the same time, if you want your kid to go places in public where we're trying to control and limit exposure, you've also got to swallow that pill too. If you're not vaccinated, you don't get to go to public school. If you're not vaccinated, you don't get to go to certain places in public society. It is your choice. You take the choice. So you guys, you can research that news if you want. Google search it and you'll get a full printout. Last big news is this one. Mitch Ninja Turtle McConnell keeps sending out pictures. We don't know if them shits is real or not. We don't know if the pictures are him doing AI. We don't know what the status of McConnell is. We don't know if his ass got out of bed or not. We don't know. And so the governor of Kentucky, who happens to be a Democrat, a Christian, very progressive Democrat, has said enough is enough. Mitch, your ass has not been to work in 43 days. Anybody working any other job would have been fired after probably 6 days. But you ain't been here. You're still getting medical benefits from the government. You're still getting a paycheck from the government. It's time for you to make a move. And this is what Governor Beshear said. And I'm finally glad a Democrat has got some balls to stand up and do something. On Monday, Kentucky Democrat Governor Andy Beshear demanded Mitch McConnell provide a verbal update on his health or resign, questioning the ability to perform duties after over 6 weeks away from the Senate. Beshear noted it has been 43 days since news of McConnell's hospitalization, during which the senator cast 0 votes, engaged in no official activities, relying on 2 photos and written statements to communicate with constituents. Criticizing the attending physician's update, Beshear wrote, they failed to address whether McConnell can speak, reason, or carry out duties as a senator, adding Kentuckians are just asking Senator McConnell to be honest. In a separate letter, the Senate Majority Leader, John Thune, Beshear requested an investigation into McConnell's condition. While the senator's office stated he is undergoing intense physical therapy. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. And intends to return when clear. Folks, stop this shit. Stop it. Stop it. With prices at an all-time high for just about everything that the average American who's working a 9-to-5 can't afford, it is just a slap in the face for this man to be gone without giving any kind of update on what's going on with him. You basically taking a check. I mean, literally, for all we know, his ass could be dead. And they hiding it. I don't think so. But based on what they're telling us, it could be the truth. He's not around. And they're just fucking hiding it. So yeah, something needs to be done. And I'm glad Bashir is putting his foot down, but folks, we know how Democrats do. They say tough words, they send toughly worded letters, but will they follow through? And so I'm hoping he'll follow through, and we'll see what happens. But folks, those are your top 3 news stories of the day. Let's go ahead and get right back in here to the main stories we're covering today. And as I said, story number 1 is MAGA maggots has all got their panties in a wad about what's going on with the Odyssey. And this clip comes to you guys from my boy Charles Stabansky. His link is in the description. He's going to read off some of the most crazy racist comments that he found online from people who have big audiences bashing this movie. Take a look at this.
This is from Deary Tom. This account, this particular image has been seen 160,000 times. It says, Nolan knew exactly what Oscar critics wanted in the Odyssey. If you look at the thumbnail, it has black, trans, Korean, Indian. These people are so racist, it's not even funny. Damn, y'all are racist. Huh. Another one, Emily Juniper, whatever. This one was seen 70,000 times. It says, Hollywood is ruining everything. Now we have black, Asian, Indian, and transgender actors playing ancient Greeks in the Odyssey. Does she know anything about the? Have you seen any of those Greek statues? He says, I won't have an Odyssey to post on this site because I refuse to fork over my money to make this subservice trash financially viable. But idiots like you will fork up your money to go buy Trump's crypto coin, right? Where his investors lost $3.8 billion while him and his family ran off with over $800 million. You would do that. That chimed in. One person wrote, this is from, I can't pronounce the person's name, but it got a lot of views. This post has quarter of a million views. Says, can't believe critics rated Troy this low, but gave the Odyssey 95%. Black woman, a white woman looking beautiful and the black woman looking angry. You have Brad Pitt, and then I don't know who that character is with the mask on there, right? Just to kind of further reinforce their racism. Then you have another one. This is from Elon Musk. Elon Musk wrote, before this year ends, Grok Image will make a full-length movie of the Odyssey that is historically accurate and true to the art of Homer. Are these people aware that this is not a true story? Are they aware that this is a made-up story?
Did you guys see Charles's face? And he's like, are these dummies know that this is And then Elon Musk, folks, if you don't know anything about Elon Musk, number one, people got him pegged as some tech geek genius. He's not a tech geek genius. He did help co-found PayPal. And then from there, he's just been sloshing his money around to pay other smart people to come up with all the ideas that he chairs as a CEO. Whenever he announces something is going to happen, just add 6 years to it. So he's saying by the end of the year, Grok is going to have an Odyssey itself. Folks, stop it. Grok, before anything happens with Grok would have to retool itself because Grok has made so many errors in the past, this ain't even funny. The people he's got programming that shit only program racism. So this would be the most racist version of the Odyssey you ever seen. We likely not to see no women in it. Okay, we like to just see some boy on boy action in his version if Grok was able to do it. But Grok is not going to be able to do this stupid shit. Folks, the movie was a hit. The movie was good. The movie brought in crowds of people. And what always bothers me when you hear these white men talking about woke this and woke that, woke is not a bad word. Woke means you're enlightened. But here's the problem. Republicans and MAGA don't want their people enlightened. Hell, they tell you the truth. They really don't want nobody enlightened, but they know they're not going to get progressives, people who are educated to not enlighten themselves about what's going on in the world. Because if you're enlightened, it makes it that much harder for con artists like Trump, like Elon Musk, to take advantage of you. And this is what I know about these white men complaining about minorities and diversity in these films. They will have you believe that they don't want to have nothing to do with black women, right? And one of the main characters is Lupita Nyong'o, one of the most beautiful dark-skinned women on planet Earth. happens to be black. Every white dude would jump head first in her. That's her right there, folks. Every white dude who tells you they don't like black women would jump in her booty quicker than they would jump in that pool behind her butt. These are the same men who descend from men who thought that black people were 3/4 of a human, but would take their ass in the outhouse every single day and be tearing up some black booty. So that is a hypocrisy myth, number one. Number two, the one guy who said he wasn't going to pay his money to go see it, I'll give him credit. If you don't like the movie, don't go see it. Don't go see it. You don't have to go see it. You guys have a slew of racist ass filmmakers that make the stupidest shit that never gets viewed. What's that one guy, Dinesh D'Souza, who does movies, and he can never even make $2 million on any of his shit because it lacks diversity. The people that you want to see that movie, first of all, don't have the money, don't have the intellectual intelligence to really go out and see anything unless it's WWE or a NASCAR race. Get a clue here, okay? Having a bigger group of people brings in a bigger audience. And at the end of the day, one thing I do know, the reason why we have so much turmoil amongst the people who are below the top 10% income earners and rich folks is because those 10% and up want it that way. Because they get to live this lavish life while we're down here fighting over racist issues and equality. And equality is something we should all have. Whether Johnny in the trailer park wants equality or not, it shouldn't matter. He doesn't have to come out in the place where equality lives. He can keep his ass in the trailer park. But if you're going to be moving around in polite society, getting jobs, dealing with the public, things should be equitable. And Nolan did an excellent job on this film, whether you think it's woke or not. So I want to hear from you guys. Post your comments. Did you see the movie? And what do you think of Lupita? I know what the white dudes think of her. That's why they can't keep their damn mouths shut. Moving right along. Nolan Wells is back in the story, ladies and gentlemen. And I found this YouTuber called Big Kish Black. His link is in the description. He found some things that I didn't know about. And I think you all know full well that Nancy Grace is on the case now. So, oh, boy, boy, that broad. When she get on the case, the shit gets solved. So I know there are some white folks in Mississippi and Alabama and all throughout the South who was rooting for this thing to be covered up are now just pooping in their pants the way Trump shits in his diaper. Take a look at my boy Big Kish Black. Listen to the stuff that he found about that particular island and how he feels the media is spinning the Nolan Wells story. Take a look.
Ships and Horn Islands recognized as Underground Railroad sites. Ocean Springs, Mississippi, Ship and Horn Islands, managed by Gulf Islands National Seashore, were accepted into the National Park Service's National Underground Railroad Network to Freedom program on September 29, 2022. The National Underground Railroad Network to Freedom is a federal program that commemorates the stories of the men and women who risked everything for freedom and those who helped them. It honors, preserves, and promotes the history of resistance to enslavement through escape and flight worldwide. It says, following the start of the Civil War, freedom seekers use small craft to navigate the waters of Mississippi Sound in hopes of finding liberation at the hands of U.S. forces by October 1861. The first recorded freedom seeker arrived on Ship Island and enlisted for service in the U.S. Navy.
Were Nolan Wells' friends talking about him and talking about him possibly being dead while they were on their way back to the mainland from Horn Island? This is all because of some audio that we got from officials down in Mississippi. This audio is a call that's being made from the boat that Nolan's friends were on. So after they're on Horn Island on July 4th, at the end of the day, About 4:30, they decide they're heading back to the mainland. And the owner of that boat, or the grandson of the owner who's driving the boat, realizes that they are taking on water. Their bilge pump isn't working, so he places a call to a tow company called Sea Tow. And while he's on that call, there is a lot of commotion going on. And what people think is that in the background of that call, you can hear someone say, "Is he dead? Nolan. Oh my God." It's really hard to make out. This is what it sounds like.
So now y'all want to play the beginning of it before the dispatch even picked up. Now all of a sudden y'all want to play the beginning of it. Cause at first I think it was TMZ who broke the audio call. They didn't have the beginning playing at first. Now all of a sudden y'all want to come back and bring the beginning of it out.
Now, there are other parts of the audio where people think they hear the words "check his chest" or
listen to the words people think they hear.
All this is coming out now that Nancy Grace Aston got involved, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go again. A white woman coming to the rescue. Hopefully she can save this situation. But this story is just, I don't even want to say weird, folks. I just want to say it's criminal activity in our face. It is a criminal cover-up right here in our face. Last night, I did a video with Mel. Why is the tip line linked to the judge? The judge who was the stepmama of one of these kids. Why? Where we do that at? As some of the black females would say, where we do that at? That is witness tampering. That's evidence tampering. She is filtering. If anybody has called with some information, I can cool believe that bitch is filtering it. She does not need to be a judge. She doesn't need to be anywhere near this case. It's hard to get any justice down there because everything's Republican ran. And when you let Republicans run states, they milk the government for tax money. They milk the system for their own pockets. And they hardly ever give justice unless it's for their rich friends or people who are contributing to their political campaigns, which who knows what she's doing, but I'm sure she's connected with some of them. She's a damn judge, for crying out loud. How impartial can this woman be if she's got her phone number connected to the tip line? Folks, this stinks to high heavens. And as I said last night, we're not going to have Trump's FBI get involved. We can't expect a government agency to get involved. The only thing we can do is just keep kicking this can down the road until hopefully the midterms come and we get a blue wave that's going to be about the business of justice. Maybe we can have a governor who's got balls on him to step in and maybe get some of his FBI people to go over to another state. But that wouldn't happen because if you don't have jurisdiction in said state, there's really nothing you can do. And so we're not going to see any real justice unless public opinion outcries so much that that pressure crushes the people involved. And when we get some accountability from the Democrats. But this story just keeps taking these crazy turns. And I would love to hear from you guys. Last story we got for today, ladies and gentlemen. Hunter Biden has been doing his run on all the different shows. And I actually like Hunter Biden. He's a pretty cool cat. Well, this time he sat down with self-effacing Nazi Nick Fuentes. And I'm kind of torn on people who are progressive having sit downs with these known racists, these known Nazis, as if they're going to break ground and change their behavior. Maybe I'm wrong and they should sit down with them. Maybe they should. But in all the past dealings I've seen so far, it hasn't changed anybody. To me, it more feels like clicks for the internet. But here's Biden getting Fuentes straight. We'll talk about it when we're on the backside.
Nick, I can think of about 4 things that I really wish you would take back right now. But
Like
what are you
what?
going to do? The cookies in the oven?
It takes 1 hour to cook a batch of cookies, and you have 15 ovens, probably in 4 different kitchens, right? Doing 24 hours a day, every day for 5 years. How long would it take you to make 6 million? I don't know. It certainly wouldn't be 5 years, right? The math doesn't seem to add up there.
Well, it's a joke.
But it's not, Nick. My wife is Jewish. My son is Jewish. No, Nick. I promise you. Don't get mad.
I'm not mad.
Okay,
It's
I know. But you got to understand how incredibly, whether it's a joke or not, it's a lived experience passed down from generation to generation, whether or not and by the way, not just from the Holocaust, not just from 1939 on, 2,000 years of history, okay? Forget about Israeli politics and Netanyahu, because I think we agree about Bibi Netanyahu. I'm positive we do. And I've listened to you talk about it. But you got to understand, look at me, man.
I see.
It hurts. It hurts.
Does it?
Nick, I promise you it does. When you compare my wife's family to cookies going to an oven, it hurts. And you got to understand that. And by the way, I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
And I believe that you do know that.
See, that's where you lose me. That's where you lose me.
Okay, Nick. Okay, I'm telling you.
Well, listen, are we here to talk, or are you here to lecture me and preach to me?
Okay, no, you're right. Let me listen.
Okay.
So you're right.
This is the thing, because, and I think this is a disconnect. I think that the left, and even people on the right, they're losing the young people. Why do people love me? Not in spite of, but because of the outrageous things that I say. Not in spite of, but because I say offensive things. Because I, let's say, drop the N-word on a video or something. It's because people are sick of the preachiness, the
Nick.
Lecturing.
Okay, I'll listen
they
to what
really
you
are.
say. But Nick, I disagree. I think that you're appealing to the lowest common denominator of thought. If you're hating on the people that they think are the reason for their suffering, then you must be on their side. I don't think that you believe that about the Holocaust. I think you think the Holocaust did happen. But forget about whether or not you think that it is used politically in a way that is obtuse and wrong. But I think that you do believe that. And I think that you have to. Like, what's your cultural heritage?
I'm Italian, Mexican, and Irish.
So, folks, first of all, Nick Fuentes is a man who's admitted he hasn't had sex and with a woman. In other words, I believe he's gay and he can't come out of the closet. And did you see the smug smiles on his face? He knows, he knows good and damn well that the stuff he's saying is inflammatory. And that's what he wants, because it gets him a crowd. Would he take his ass to somebody's synagogue, or would he go to the hood and start screaming out nigger? No, he would not, because he's not about that life. But it helps drive him an audience of idiots and lowlives who their whole life mission is, if I hate these people because they've taken my position and I support someone like him, I'm making a dent in the way the world is evolving. No, you're not. No, you're not. You'd be better off disavowing him and his stupid rhetoric and figuring out how you can get involved with helping make things more equitable for everybody, including your self-hating self. But folks, they won't do that because it's a mental disorder. And it's easier to hate than it is to figure out a way to love and move the country forward. And most of the people that support Nick Fuentes are the same people that run around here telling you they love the police, they love the military, but yet every time, and they love this country, but yet every time you see them out and about, do they have a red, white, and blue flag? No. They disrespect the flag, when I thought they also said that Colin Kaepernick shouldn't take a knee. They run around here with one of those blue and black flags and shit like that. When it's time for the military to vote someone in there who's going to pay the military, the workers, the people that actually have boots on the ground more, they never vote for those type of people. They vote for the people that are going to pay the military industrial complex. So I'll give Biden credit for going into the lion's den and actually checking Nick, who knows better. That goofy ass grin he had and the way he was shaking his legs, that is all science telling you that he was nervous. He knows he's wrong. And it's just going to, I guess, take more people going, sitting down with him and checking him. Hey, Nick, I'm available. Maybe we can have a conversation. Let me know. And to everyone who came and watched this, be on the lookout. I might be doing a couple of these debate circuits over the next couple of months from now until the end of the year. So just keep your notifications on. I'm trying to start getting to the point where I'm going live every day. I'm just trying to figure out what time works best. I know for sure it's going to be 8 p.m. every Monday. And maybe I'll start doing 8 p.m. on Tuesdays, but for sure it'll be 8 p.m. on Mondays. But other than that, folks, just keep your eyes on for my pop-up live streams. That's going to do it for this video. Don't forget to like it, comment, subscribe. If you have friends who are trying to grow their progressive messages, send them my way. I'll repost so they can get introduced to my audience and hopefully can gain themselves a little bit of their own audience, and we do it as a community. And until that next Sex is Hell video, I'm out.
Somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body. Somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body. Somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body.